Okay, who saw Jason Campbell's last 10-minute talk on meditation? Okay, oh, great. Awesome. So it's on the Genius Network membership site and also on the Genius Network Facebook group. So if you've not seen it, watch it. After 10 minutes, you'll be inspired and have the tools to change your life with meditation in 299 seconds a day. I've asked Jason back to share with you some simple health and vitality disciplines that you can do throughout the day that will not take extra time out of your schedule. These teachings are based on time-tested and scientifically proven Eastern medicine and longevity practices. Many people were shocked to learn that Jason just had his 48th birthday because he's a very handsome fellow, so it must work. And look how calm this dude is, too, seriously. All right, so Jason Campbell's the co-owner of Zen Wellness, which is based right here in the Phoenix area. For the past 26 years, he's been teaching meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, and the martial arts to thousands of his students. And Jason is also a 7th degree black belt. To enhance his members' meditation and training experience, Jason composes music for meditation and training. He now has 5 albums. One has been #1 on Amazon for 2 years. When your body is healthy and vibrant, you know that that's worth a whole lot more than $250,000. He will give you a handout at the end with all the information so you don't need to take any notes. What he is going to talk about is what you can do for greater health, energy, happiness that takes no time out of the day. So Jason's title is 7 Simple Disciplines in 0 Time. Please help me welcome Jason Campbell.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
The purpose of this teaching is to give you 7 simple disciplines that you can really be aware of throughout the day that helps with vitality, mental clarity, and just overall well-being. So let's start. Everybody stand. Right where you are. Okay, and all we're going to do, it's so simple, just lift up on your toes and come down. And lift up on your toes and come down. Lift up, down, and then just keep doing this. We're only going to do about 30 seconds. Now, if you can, add the breath. Inhale, then exhale. One more breath, inhale, and then exhale, and then stop. Good. Okay, have a seat. So what you just did is you just exercised your third heart. More on that in a moment. So really the key is don't think of your vitality as something separate from your day. If you can think of it as something that you just incorporate into your day and just make it a part of your day, you'll have like much greater success, because as a lot of you have figured out, after about 40, you have a new part-time job, and that's called taking care of your body, your emotions, and your spirit. And it's kind of like a full-time effort, part-time work is what that is. This teaching right now is mostly on the body, but let's remember there's 3. There's the body, emotions, and spirit, and you really want to do all 3. So, okay, 35 years ago, I was 13 years old. I was in my uncle's art studio, and he makes these big landscape paintings. And there was this painting, there was like this emerald grass, and kind of had this flowing look on it. And he said to me, what do you see? I said, grass? He said, nope. I said, green? Nope. A few more wrong answers. He said to me, the absence of red. It struck me like a lightning bolt. You have 3 primary colors. You have red, you have blue, and you have yellow. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. So one way to think of green is all the colors. You pull out the red, you're left with green. 3,500 years or 2,500 years before I was in my uncle's art studio, Siddhartha Gautama, the first Buddha, was asked, what is enlightenment? And his answer was, the removal of suffering. So you can kind of think of it in the same way. It's like we take you, we just pull out all your suffering. What's left? We can say enlightenment, we can say happiness, we can say whatever word we want to use. So think of these techniques as is the removal of suffering. So what we just did in Eastern medicine, we think of it as that you have 3 hearts. You have your heart here, you have your lower abdomen, and you have your calves. And so by deep breathing and pumping your calves, you help the heart function. You might have seen the news stories that made the rounds a couple years ago. Sitting is the new smoking. And for 5 hours of sitting is the equivalent of smoking 24 cigarettes. And so one discipline, once an hour, if you can just stand up, you do it at your desk, you can still talk on the phone, you can still process, you can still listen. Just get up and shake and breathe. If you can do that once an hour, you'll be so much happier at the end of the day. Everything starts to move. Emotionally, you feel better. Physically, you feel better. And so that's the first one. Okay, second discipline. A few years ago, I was asked by a student, is it okay to smoke weed when I meditate? I said, well, okay, in meditation, what you're doing is you're activating the observer. So you have the observer, and then you have your thoughts. So, the thoughts goes blah, 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 and when you can activate it and watch your thoughts, then your thoughts start to settle, and you have less thoughts or space in between your thoughts. So when you smoke weed, the THC really doesn't help that. It's just like you're all over the place. My answer was, no, don't smoke weed when you meditate. And he said, okay. Is it okay to meditate while I'm smoking weed? Good job, kid. I like your thinking. Meditate all the time. Great. Always meditate. You got the approval. So it's like, so then the question is it okay to work when you're exercising? Well, not really, no, because when you exercise, whatever, if you're doing like weight training, if you're lifting the weights, really what you want to do is you have the physical body, the breath, add the breath, and then you put your mind or your awareness into whatever part you're exercising. Then also that way you don't get injured. A lot of times injury comes when the mind's out here and you're doing something, you're not aware of your body and you blow something out. So no, put your mind in. But then, is it okay to exercise while you work? Okay. Well, this morning I did what I always do. I wake up, I do my meditation, I do my yoga and qigong. I got on a bike and I go 10 miles on a bike while returning emails, while planning my day, while doing a phone call. And I do 10 miles every morning and while I'm working. And it's a wonderful use of time to do it. I think, Joe, you spoke about a couple weeks ago. You do something similar, right? You just get on the bike and do it. So there's a lot of different things you can do. I mean, if you like a bike, you can do a treadmill, you can do an elliptical, go outside for a walk. Kevin, we spoke about that. Walking on the phone. Just walk the parking lot and just walk around in the phone. And don't be stuck at your desk. I mean, you can stand on one leg, do all your texting and do your thing and whatever. Get on the phone, just balance on one leg. Do this for a minute each side while you're doing it. So it's like if you make your body move and you're up and you're active while you're working, you're much better off. Okay, number 3. This is kind of a funny one. But if you can take just a small amount of time, a split second, before you consume food, experience gratitude for the food or the life that you're about to consume. Because all food has life, whether it's a cow or a tomato or a coffee bean. Doesn't matter, it has life, and you're about to consume it. So it's been said that if you have a little bit of gratitude, it raises the vibrational frequency of the food, thus increasing the nutritional value. And at worst, there's no downside. There's no downside to gratitude. Because if you project something, you have to run it through you first. So you project gratitude, you're flooding your body with gratitude. It's kind of like if you're pissed off at something and you project anger, well, you're flooding your body with anger first before it goes out. So just that little bit of gratitude. And it doesn't take time. You're thinking of something before you eat. So just stop for a moment, experience it. And it can be all internal. It doesn't have to be socially awkward. Just experience a little bit of gratitude and then consume the food. Okay, number 4. A couple years ago, Harvard did a study, and they said the 5 top exercises for longevity: Tai Chi and Qigong, swimming, walking, and resistance training or weight training. But then here's what was interesting. What was interesting is with the 5th one. I was really surprised about this, so they came up with this. Number 5 was Kegels. Now, I didn't know they would consider Kegels a form of exercise. I thought it was actually really cool. Kegels is when you lightly contract your butt, is what that is. It's like a light squeeze, not a hard squeeze. It's like, the analogy is closing an eyelid. Okay? In the yoga... In the yoga traditions, the word we use for that is mula bandha. Some of you, I'm sure, know that word. In the Taoist traditions, the word we use for that is pull up your huiyin. The huiyin's the acupuncture point. When I was a teenager doing the martial arts, I was told, tighten your ass, kid. Which is not really accurate. That's not a good way to do it. But either way, it's just like that hold. It's just a very slight hold. Okay, and then I'm actually going to upgrade that because you can even make that better. If you're going to put your awareness, make it even a little better, and slightly hold in your stomach. So just a tiny bit of tension, not like this tension, no, just you can do it even right now. Just relax, just kind of squeeze and slightly hold in your stomach. And what that does is that holds everything in. Because after 40s, especially after 58, that's the magic word, the time. 58 is you go through a season change. You go from that begins the fall, and we call that the metal element. But literally, it's the autumn, it's the fall. Things literally start to fall. People fall, things die, your skin falls, your organ falls. I mean, everything starts to fall during that season of life. And so the more you can just kind of hold it up and just be a little bit aware of it, the better off you are. And you can do that without losing any attention. Like you can do that right now and put a little bit of awareness here and still completely focus on whatever it is that you're focusing on, whether it's me or your phone or whatever you're paying attention to right now. You can do that. So there's no like loss of time. Okay, number 5 is be deliberate about your background music. Like sometimes the music can be medicine or poison. And so be real deliberate about it. It's like a soundtrack. There's a reason Disney and studios spend millions and millions of dollars to get the perfect score, the perfect music, and everything to create a mood. And so just be mindful of it. I mean, the music that I write, it's 1 beat per second. And the 1 beat per second, even you just put it on in the background, get your watch, your heart rate will lower if you just put it on in the background because it just kind of soothes you out. I mean, it's beautiful music. It's not like if you need up-tempo music, then find something else. But if you need to chill out, you put that or something similar. But be like really mindful of your the soundtrack, basically. Think of it as like the soundtrack to your life and just don't let that happen by random. Okay, number 6. Has anyone heard of the medical term resting bitch face? Any resting bitch face masters in the room? 10,000 hours? Come on, be honest. Okay, I did that at a few weeks ago. We had a training, and I talked about resting bitch face, and the woman in the front row said, "Yeah, what about resting dick face?" I'm like, okay, that's fine. So the inner smile is the opposite. And what happens is that when you lift like your inner, here, just so slight, you just try it. You can't even barely tell. You just lift inside. That changes your brain chemistry. You got to be careful of resting bitch face. That'll dump cortisol. Like the brain is this giant pharmacy. You know, it's like you're giving it slips each day. No copays, no HMOs. Hits the target organs, good or bad. It hits all of them. No side effects. So that dumps cortisol. So if you can dump like the serotonin, the dopamine, which are basically the happy chemicals, with a little smile, that's like a really big deal. Okay, quick review. Number 1 is pump your calves. 2 is do some type of movement while you're working. 3 is gratitude before you eat. 4 is the Kegels, hold your lower abdomen, and I have this all in a handout for you. 5 is deliberate about your background music. 6 is your inner smile. And number 7, there is no number 7, you're geniuses. You all can do it in 6.